All right, welcome back, everybody. On today's episode of the Medical Minutes, we're talking vapocoolants or cold sprays, like this one seen here. Okay, with the World Cup starting in a few days, this is something that you all will see. And if you're curious about it, stick around, and I'll tell you all about it. All right, so let's get into what is a vapocoolant or cold spray. I could explain some really scientific thing for you, but I think the best thing for you would be to watch this. I don't even know what that just was. I mean, that's vapocoolant spray, but I I don't know. I just don't ever see myself using it that way. All right, so when would you use it, and what are the applications? It is strictly a topical or surface coolant, and is primarily seen in soccer, such as the World Cup, which is going on right now. And some of the main use for it would be for analgesic or pain relief, temporary surface pain relief. Okay, so like I said, the first function is a surface coolant. We would use this in a medical application, mainly for either topical injuries, things like top of the hand, top of the foot, maybe a contusion that may hurt, but overall, there's no main injury, no physiological injury. It's just pain related. So we could use a coolant spray like this, no affiliation whatsoever. As a way to cool the skin temperature and numb the area. Another reason we may use it would be for a subcutaneous or intramuscular injection. Now, I'm not using that in my current setting here, but the way it would go about is you could either spray directly to the skin following the manufacturer's instructions, and that's really important because you can lower the temperature of the skin to a point that is dangerous and you can get skin damage. They will actually blister because the skin gets too cold. A safer way to do that would be either a roll of cotton, a nose plug, or a Q-tip such as this one. You could take the cold spray, you get the idea, spray the tip or the applicator, the cotton applicator, rub the area that you're going to inject, and then do your subcutaneous or intramuscular injection. Okay, so the second reason that you may use a cold spray would be for a technique known as spray and stretch. Okay, this is a sports medicine technique. We use it periodically in the clinic, and what it is used for is trigger points or muscle spasms. If we take the upper trap or trapezius muscle of the back, and we want to alleviate a trigger point, we take the cold spray. Okay, and we spray 3 to 5 parallel sweeps directly to the tissue. And what this does is it lowers the surface temperature of the tissue to the point where we break, or ideally we break up the injury cycle or pain cycle to the point where that spasm then gets inhibited or releases a little bit to the point where then we can stretch that muscle and elongate it, possibly longer than it would be if you were still feeling that tightness or that painful response. So by just essentially numbing the surface area or the surface of the skin, we numb it, and then we're able to stretch it either completely or further than we could if you still had that painful response occurring. So spray and stretch is pretty effective. It's really good before competitions because we're not really deep cooling the tissue. We're surface cooling it. We're able to alleviate some of that pain and those muscle spasms, and the athlete is still able to then compete right away because we haven't deep cooled anything. So spray and stretch is a really good technique that we do use pretty often.
But wait, there's more.
There is more. So the third technique, or something that we're seeing a little more often, is kind of called cryokinetics, right? So it's the use of cold spray or Vapocoolant spray in conjunction with movement. And this is usually seen at the end range of rehabs where the swelling has gone down, the joint function is returned to normal, but there still may be a lingering pain or a need for an analgesic effect. So for a quick example, this would be your ankle sprain. Days 3 through 5, we work on inflammation control, range of motion. Days 5 through 8, we work on strengthening and neuromuscular reeducation. And now they're at about like 8 to 10 days. They're looking to get back into a high functioning form of training, meaning in the form of practice or competition. But that pain is a threshold that they're trying to get over. So we could do a thing where we do an episode of skin blanching, or we cool the surface temperature of the skin, numb it up, put them back in. We're not deep cooling here, so it's a surface coolant. They begin to play or train, and then as they pretend to maybe warm up, be it 10 minutes later, 15 minutes, 20 minutes later, they may need another bout of skin cooling. Sometimes we're kind of not experimenting with it, but seeing where it fits best, maybe during water breaks, so they're getting a good bout of exercise or training effect in between each segment. But we're seeing pretty good results. But remember, especially for athletes that are self administering this, follow the directions on the can or product label. Less is more. Tend to do light sweeps first. Duration, keep it below 10 seconds. If you don't, you will be sorry. I've seen it too many times where they go too close to the skin or for too long of a duration, and the skin will blister. And anytime a skin blisters or gets disrupted, you can get infections, and you can lose playing time. And we've seen it at the major league levels for any of these sports. You will lose playing time due to secondary effects of skin damage. So, not to put the fear in you guys, but Vapocoolant sprays have a role. It is strictly analgesic. You'll see it in the World Cup as people are hurt every game. But remember, analgesic effect, less than 10 minutes. When you see the skin blanching, you have to stop. And that's my little talk on Vapocoolant spray. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And that's all I got for you here. November is getting near the end, so I got a few more, about a week and a half for the beard, and then it's coming off. So if you haven't watched this video here, because this is the one that I'm tracking the likes on, or the views, I'm sorry. So for every view, 10 cents, and it's going to a men's health cause. So please like it, share it, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one.